Oh my god, I just swiped on someone on Tinder and their like first question, because it says I'm poly in my bio, was, do you believe in love? I'm dating a few people. One of them has a wife.
Can we talk a little bit about how to have safe sex while in polyamorous relationships?
Yeah.
Well, hey everybody! I have a special guest with me today.
Hi, I'm Stevie. My pronouns are she, her, and I make lesbian sex videos.
And Stevie has something very important that she needs to get off her chest.
Do I?
No. But I just like to make it a big deal. I didn't realize it was the first time you were saying it until you said it. So now I'm milking it. So what's your big secret?
2 weeks ago I realized I'm polyamorous.
Congratulations!
Thanks!
And I get to pick your brain about what that means to you and things.
Sure, I'm an expert because I've been poly for 2 weeks. Guys, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I'm gonna try. Educate me in the comments.
Will you explain a really cool term called compersion for me?
Yeah! It is like kind of the opposite of jealousy. I think the dictionary definition is feeling joy for other people's joy, but specifically in like relationships, when you're talking about being compersive, it can be anything. It's like an umbrella term for an emotion, but it can mean feeling joy that the person that you love, your wife or your partner or whatever, is experiencing sexual or romantic happiness and joy and love with another person, and you feel like full of happiness and joy for them doing that.
The first time that I understood compersion was the first time that I understood polyamory. I met somebody and they were explaining to me how their relationships are full of compersion, and it just clicked for me because I had all these questions like most people, like, well, what about jealousy and how can you share and don't you want to be committed and all of these goofy misconception, like not so great questions. Then he was talking about, well, I love my partner and I want my partner to be literally as happy as possible. So if I see my partner doing something that makes them even happier, that makes me happy and I want them to do that more, and I want their partner to do things that make them happy more. And it just circulates, and it's just, we're all so supportive and loving and bursting with love and joy. And then I was like overwhelmed and I was like, any like, why would someone want to be poly questions in my brain evaporated. I was like, that's why someone would want to be poly, because you're just spreading love and loving.
So it is a common misconception that all poly people don't experience jealousy, which is extremely untrue. You can even experience compersion and jealousy at the same time.
Ooh.
And also there's lots of monogamous people that don't experience jealousy. They're just monogamous and they want to be in a monogamous relationship because that's what they want.
Right.
I don't really feel jealousy. Like I do sometimes, but it lasts for like 2 seconds and then goes away.
That must make being poly a little easier.
I think it's convenient. I've talked to other poly people, especially people that I know that are new to poly, and they're just like, how do you do it? I've been working so hard to like feel compersion and I just can't feel it. I can't. It's impossible. So I just learned yesterday. Do you want me to teach you the different kinds of poly?
Yeah!
Relationships? Well, there's so fucking many.
But just a few. Yeah.
So the 3 that I learned are don't ask, don't tell, or DADT, which is where you and your partner agree that you are not monogamous, but they don't want to hear literally any fucking details.
Okay.
I don't want to know their name. I don't want to know their gender. I don't want to know when you're going on a date. I don't want to know if you fucked, that you fucked, anything.
Okay.
Which is scary to me, but for some people...
that's not you.
No. God, no. But there's some people that need that type of relationship so they can not have to deal with their jealousy.
I know a couple who is like half don't ask, don't tell, half that's fine if you ask and tell. One person just does not want to hear it at all, and the other person is totally fine hearing it if the other person wants to talk about it. Just like whatever works for each part of the relationship.
Then the next would be called parallel poly. So say I were to have 2 partners. They might know each other's like name, they might know when we're going on dates, but like they will never meet, probably. They'll never hang out. We don't talk about fights that I might be having with my other one.
Okay.
Or like things we're working through, or like, and like they definitely wouldn't contact each other or like anything like that. So that's called parallel poly. So it's like separate.
And then
my favorite is called kitchen table poly. And it means that you and your partners partners would all feel comfortable having dinner together at the kitchen table.
that's super cool. So currently, are you in any kind of like kitchen table situation?
I'm dating a few people. One of them has a wife.
Neat.
And they're poly, and it's so fun.
So you don't feel uncomfortable or awkward or anything being around or talking to your partner's partner that you don't have any romantic feelings with?
I don't know. It's so new. There are points where I'm just like, oh no, have I overstepped my bounds? Am I making her uncomfortable?
Sure.
But not to where I'm like, oh God, I hope they don't kiss or hold hands in front of me, because when they do, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, because of compersion.
Yeah. But like when I was dating monogamous people, I would like encourage them to make out with other people. I think it's cute to first of all watch my partner like flirt with other people and like see what they say and do, and I like being playful and like making fun of them for what they're saying, or being like, that was good.
Right. Let's talk about how to be polyamorous and practice safe sex.
Yeah, my favorite topic. I think that poly people are very concerned with safe sex in general. Most of the poly people I've met are very educated and are very safe. And lots of people have different rules as far as like how long they're gonna wait before blah, 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 in between partners and all of that, and time to get tested and like, etc.
You get tested between every new partner, correct?
I do. Sometimes people don't though.
Okay.
Because you can have safe sex. So you can have sex where you're not exchanging fluids. The way to have safe sex with people with vulvas is to not swap vaginal fluid.
Okay.
So no oral sex unless you're using a dental dam. No using saliva for lube from your mouth and then using it on their vulva. Instead you use saliva from their mouth and use it on their vulva. So I always get tested 2 weeks after I have had spontaneous sex with a new person.
Why 2 weeks? Is 2 weeks when it takes to show signs or something? Okay.
Yeah, so between 2 weeks and 3 months, depending on which STI or STD it is.
Okay.
A lot of people think that all poly people only have safe sex. And it depends on what your definition of safe sex is. Because, like, I think that a way to have safe sex is to get tested before you have unsafe sex. So if you both know your status as far as like if you're positive or negative for whatever you are positive or negative for, and you discuss that with each other and then decide to do certain sex acts that might be considered unsafe, that's still safe sex because you know your status and you've discussed it and communicated. And then if you haven't been tested, using things like gloves, dental dams, not doing certain sex acts that would swap fluids and therefore put you at a higher risk of contracting STIs or STDs.
What do you think is some of the stigma surrounding polyamory?
There's so much for people, but what did I say to you yesterday? I was like, I wonder if it's easier for queer people to come out as poly than it is for straight people?
Sure, because they've already had the experience of coming out. Like, they have that.
People are like, oh, you're already sexually deviant. That makes sense now.
Which is so sad.
It's real weird.
I feel like queer people a lot of times surround themselves with queer people. I feel like queer people are often more open to polyamory.
Maybe. I think that maybe bisexual people are less likely to be open about being poly because they feel like it reinforces stereotypes. I have no idea. I just know that like people come out to me as non-monogamous all the time.
So why don't they come out to the world? What's scary about that?
Well, I think it's just rooted in slut shaming and the like fear of this is what real love looks like. Oh, hi, Ziggy. Yeah, it's like, this is what it looks like. You are monogamous, and you get married, and it's a boy and a girl that get married, and then you have 2.5 kids, and you have a white picket fence, and then you never even look at the sexy neighbor next door. I've heard that there's like it can be used as an argument to like not get custody of your kids in a divorce. Like, oh, well, my partner's polyamorous, and look at all of these partners they have. Like, what a slut. This is a bad environment for children.
Look at this team of people that could actually be really helpful, and often it takes a village to raise a child, so, you know, whatever. So,
like, there's, I don't know, it's like an underground thing with a lot of, like, bisexual women that are poly that I've met because I go to a sex party for bisexuals that have husbands or boyfriends and want to sleep with other women. It's very, like, we want our identities to be completely concealed. We use a fake identity when we go to these places. It's, like, super serious. I don't know, sometimes, oh my god, I don't know, swiped on someone on Tinder and their like first question, because it says I'm poly in my bio, was, do you believe in love?
Do you think they asked that because of your bio?
Yeah. Oh, they were asking me about being poly and then they were like, but do you believe in love?
Yeah, poly people are full of love, weirdo.
What?
That doesn't make any sense.
But I guess it does make sense, like coming from like, oh, well, monogamy is love, and then polyamory is like either cheaters or they're just like wanting to get fucked without being in love with people. And it's like, no, people have relationships.
Right.
Some people can like just fuck other people.
Right.
And then like they have their main partnership and they're still in love and all that stuff. Some people just don't want romance at all, and they like just want to have people that they just have sex with. Some people, oh my god, there are ace poly people. Think about that.
There are.
So like they just want to like kiss and cuddle and watch movies, or not kiss, just like go on dates with other people. Someone asked me that on Tumblr today and I want to answer it and be like, yes, even though I'm a sexual person, I would definitely date an ace person. I like non-sexual intimacy like a lot.
Thank you so much for like being vulnerable and sharing this like part of you and teaching the people and me so much and Ziggy so much.
Oh. Did I put you to sleep? Was that boring?
No. I'll count to 3. I'll go 1, 2, 3, and then we'll say, okay, bye.
Okay, bye!